price growth eased less than expected in November, while consumer spending missed estimates. The PCE index rose 0.2% in November from a month earlier, suggesting the Fed's interest rate hikes are helping with inflation, which is, of course, welcome news to the Biden administration. Yahoo Finance's Jen Schonberger spoke with White House economist Jared Bernstein on the state of the economy and more. Jen, are they starting to see some of those price pressures ease and maybe potentially want to tout that a bit more?
Good morning, Akiko. Ahead of that latest inflation data, I sat down with President Biden's chief economist, Jared Bernstein, at the White House on Thursday and got the administration's view on why the peak in inflation may be behind us and why the White House believes a recession could be avoided next year. Bernstein told me he feels good about the slowdown in inflation, pointing to the 2-point percentage drop in headline inflation on the consumer price index from about 9% in June to 7% as of November. Bernstein telling me, quote, "I hope that the peak in inflation is behind us," but added the caveat, "I'm pretty cautious about calling any kind of global peak. We've seen head fakes before. That said, there are reasons why we're confident that we've seen some positive momentum." He said it's possible the drop in prices could stick because of the slowdown in core goods inflation, thanks to better functioning supply chains and goods getting to shelves faster. Now, when it comes to the outlook for the economy, Bernstein told me, quote, "A recession is not inevitable." He says recent data support the economy transitioning to growth below last year's levels, but still positive while job growth slows, basically outlining the so-called soft landing scenario talked about so much by the Federal Reserve and Wall Street. Now, Bernstein suggested to me that the Fed's forecast for economic growth is consistent with the models he sees for below average GDP growth. Now, the Fed forecasting growth of just 0.5 percentage point next year before ticking higher to 1.6% in 2024. Akiko?
Priorities then when it comes to economic development going forward?
Hi, Rochelle. Bernstein told me that President Biden's biggest economic priorities for next year will actually be implementing the 3 key major economic legislative packages that have been passed under his administration, notably the Infrastructure Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the CHIPS Act.
Okay, Jen Schonberger, thanks so much for bringing us that conversation. Of course, you can read all about it on our site as well.